Satnam, aloha, welcome. Yeah, I see Cynthia said Mercury in retrograde again. Yeah, patience. Yeah, great. Welcome, everybody. So just throw a Satnam or aloha out there and where you're from, where you're located. Okay. Okay, I'm just assuming everybody can hear me. It looks like everything's fine. Okay, so it's the solar eclipse today in about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in about 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours. Okay, so let me just share my screen here. There's the chart. Let me see if I can just, so that you can see the whole thing. There we go. Okay. Like it. Okay, so there's the human design chart for this solar eclipse. So just a reminder, solar eclipses are when something has to die so that something else can be born. So it usually involves some kind of loss, but it's a good loss because it's really, the energy is about getting you on your soul purpose, on the path you're supposed to be on. So this brings swift changes. So it's the new moon, right? But it's a new moon on steroids, the solar eclipse. So you've already been experiencing things since the lunar eclipse, right? Back 2 weeks ago. So I don't think it should be a surprise, and maybe you've been proactive too. That's always a good thing about letting things go that no longer serve you. You can also be forced to make a decision too, some important decision in your life, like what's not working for you. Like really tune in, like what is not working in my life right now. It could be certain relationships or your place of living or how you're earning your money, like something's not working. And it's not coming from your ego, it's coming from deep inside your soul, because it's all about bringing you to your authenticity, right? Your authenticity. So it could be breaking old habits, like old negative patterns, and also about facing your shadow. Solar eclipses are also about facing your shadow. And people get all freaked out about their shadow, and it's evil and it's negative, and it's fear. It's your deepest fears are your shadows, and we inherit our shadow patterns from our ancestors. So it's about facing, we try to hide and deny, and I don't want to deal with this, or let life just deal with it, make the decision for me. And it's like, no, it's coming to face with, okay, I've got to deal with this, whatever it is in your life, right? And so this energy will really help you with that. Okay, so are people enjoying these discussions about the shadow patterns? I find them very, very profound, right? More of a deeper dive than just like, oh, it's a solar eclipse in Cancer. It's like way more than that, right? Because these shadow patterns show us collectively what we're working on, right? As we go into the next step, as we go more and more into the Aquarian age in the 2027, right? We're in a real pivotal time now from 2020 to 2027. And just in case you don't know, I did a whole webinar, 6-hour plus webinar on that. You can go to my website and download that. It's super affordable, and it gives you everything you need to know. So look at it here. The other thing with the solar eclipse, right, it's connected to the North Node, and North Node is all about our Dharma. It's where we're going. So that's why it's super important, the eclipse season, especially now in this year. So you can see the sun is in the 15.3, and then the North Node of the moon is in 15.1, and then there's the moon, 15.3. Okay, so that's down here. So you can see this is the yellow shape here. These are the 9 centers according to the human design. So 9 centers. They're connected to the 7 chakra systems and also additional centers. But this is the sense of self. Like your sense of self is that yellow. And you can see the 15 hangs off of that. So if the 5 was there, which is, I talked about this before, it's the shadow of impatience, right? If that were connected, then this called the sacral would be colored in. So you can see here the 15-5 because it gives you more information of like, well, what's that channel about? This is the channel of rhythm. It's called the channel of rhythm. So it's the gift of magnetism, right? The gift of magnetism and then the gift of patience. So this is about finding your rhythm. I don't even want to say finding because it's already there. It's about getting rid of what's preventing you, right? The shadow patterns from your own rhythm, right? So it's the gift of magnetism, and it's the city, the divine gift of fluorescence. So you may have this in your own natal chart. It's a good idea to go to jovianarchive.com. I always put the links below my videos, and that you can see, oh yeah, I've got that. So this would be like doubly important for you if you have it natally in your chart. So what's the dullness about? It's the shadow of dullness. So this is about fearing the ordinariness of life, like fearing the mundane, like life is so boring, right? That's the mind. Life is really, really boring, and it's totally boring to the mind, right? Life. And if you've ever seen Groundhog Day, have people watched Groundhog Day? I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. It's my favorite spiritual movie too, right? It's everything is in there that you need to know about spirituality can be found in Groundhog Day. So what would I want to say about Groundhog Day? It's right. The whole premise of the story is he's living the same day over and over and over and over and over again, right? So you can see that shadow of dullness. He's trying to, right, take advantage of the situation and make life more interesting, right, to get out of this boredom. So that's what life is, right? It's like a pattern. It's this repeating pattern, and it's actually not dull. It's dull to the mind, but not to the soul. So when we claim the gift of magnetism, it's about going deep into the present moment, right? Deep into the present moment to our eternal self, right? The eternity that we're seeking. And interesting enough, too, the 15 is part of this ring of seeking, is that what we're seeking is actually right here in the now, right? Everything that you're seeking is right here. It's not somewhere in the future. That's what the mind and the ego tell you. It's somewhere in the future, right? When the perfect partner comes and I'm living in my perfect place and I'm in my perfect job. It's like, no, it's right here in this present moment. So the dullness is about trying to escape this emptiness. Because when we come face to face to the present moment, we're confronted with the void, right? The void, the unknown, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. So that freaks out the mind because the mind wants certainty, wants safety, wants security. But this is what we're here to do. We're here to embrace, right? This uncertainty, embrace the void, the abyss. And that it's nothing, it's not empty, right? The mind perceives it as that, oh, it's empty, right? There's nothing here. It's like, no, it's filled, right? It's filled with energy. This is the creativity, right? It can be found in the void. So with the shadow, I don't want to go too much into the shadow pattern because I pulled some cards, so I want to go into the cards because the card will give us a little bit more information about this energy. And remember, with the solar eclipse, it's not just today in a couple of days. This is 6 months, right? 6 months down the road that it's going to be affecting us. And remember, everything that's happening, just surrender to it and have the right attitude. Like, it's benevolent. The universe is benevolent, and it's putting me on the right path. right? It's putting me on the right path where I should be, for my soul's destiny. So with the shadow pattern of dullness, it can make you depressed, right? Nothing's ever changing. I feel horrible. I feel low in energy. And remember, the shadow pattern has a physiological effect on us. It can actually drain our energy. And then the flip side is the running, needing to be busy all the time. Busy with the 10 gazillion things to do on your to-do list, and just running, busy with no sense of purpose whatsoever or agenda, just like busy for busy's sake, because you don't want to face that emptiness. Yogi Bhajan talked about this as we come closer into the Aquarian age, that people are going to feel more and more empty and more empty. And remember, when you're connected to your soul, because that's where the mind's version of the shadow version of emptiness is, right? That, there's no meaning in life, there's nothing for me. But this is what most people are going to be facing in themselves. But it's really what they're looking for, is their connection to their soul, connection to God, connected to the divine. So if you already have that, right? If you already have that, then you know the gift of magnetism is the law of attraction, right? So this is really connecting to the earth. I've been reading a little bit about Jesus talked about this time that we're in right now, the prophecy, Matthew, if you read the Bible. And he talked about that it would be similar to the days of Noah, the story of Noah and the ark, the great flood. And I was just tuning into like the deeper meaning of that at one point, God said to Noah to get in the ark. It's time for you to get in the ark now, before the flood came. And I don't feel like we're going to go through some cataclysmic event for the Aquarian age. I don't feel that at all. I feel like the great flood is actually inside each one of us, right? This cleansing of all of our ancestral memories, all of our shadow patterns will be cleansed and purified. And it was like, okay, well, how does that work with the ark? What's the ark? And I feel like the ark is earth. It's actually earth. So it's like we need to get into the ark, right? We need to get into the ark where we're safe, right? And the ark is earth, but it's the frequency of earth. And that's the Schumann resonance. That Schumann resonance, 7.83 hertz. The scientists have found that, and I talked about this in my last video, right? The scientists have found that the earth actually has a heartbeat, and it's measurable. So this means that we attune ourselves to that Schumann resonance. We align ourselves with the Schumann resonance, and this means slowing down. How it affects us is we slow down and we surrender more and more to the present moment, and then we're tapped into the wisdom of the earth. I feel like that's what, Jesus was talking about, is the ark, right? Tuning into the Schumann resonance where we're safe and feeling that connection to Mother Earth. And that's what all this, I don't even want to say the word because I know YouTube uses algorithms to, right, what you're saying. Who did someone say? I'm just going to say it, 5G, right? That actually disconnects us from the Schumann resonance, right? So we're really in a really important time right now. It is the days of Noah right now that we're in. And it's really for, I don't want to get all crazy, pumping fear into people, but it's really a battle for our soul. That's what it is, right? And so if you've been doing the work all along, you're going to be fine. We're going to thrive through this time, right? It's the people that are, the two species on the planet. That's what's happening right now. There's this great divide happening, but you really need to take care of your own self, right? Take care of your own self first. So this is like tuning into the earth, right? The earth. I just feel so strongly it's about the earth. It's about our connection to the earth and not getting so caught up in technology and the mind and the division and the fighting back and forth. It's like just really go into that simplicity, right? Slowing down, enjoying nature, enjoying these precious moments, right, in our life. So that makes sense. And also when we're in touch with the Schumann resonance, we're connected to the earth grid, the grid of the earth too, right? That's the other thing. I just want to see. Okay. If there's any questions here. Okay. Beliefs become reality, 515. That's important for you. So if you've got that 515 channel, you got to trust your own rhythm. And we all need to do that. Just trust our own rhythm. Okay. How can it affect studies? You mean connected to the Schumann resonance? It's going to make you smarter. That's the thing, right? That's the everything's a paradox for the Aquarian age. So the more you slow down, the smarter you become. I remember when I taught Kundalini Yoga in 3D when I first started teaching, and I taught a class once per week in this kind of university setting. And so there was half of the students. I said, "Where is everybody?" And half of them were gone. It's like, "Oh, we've got an exam." So they're trying to cram. And the other half stayed for the class, right? So we had this beautiful class, and I told them, "Go to your test and just relax, stay relaxed, and listen. The answers are there in the ethers. Just listen, that they'll come down." So the next week, they told me, they said the people that were cramming were so upset. They got so triggered by the people that have taken the Kundalini Yoga class because they were all chill, right, and calm and relaxed, and right, everything's going to be fine. And they actually did better on the test than the people that were cramming, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the reading in the cards. And this will be fun. I really like the cards. Okay. Let me make sure the thing's on here. Yeah. That's right. Well, learning to trust your own rhythm, yeah, and not the mind, because the mind's mind's freaking out. The thing is, with this that I talk about a lot, is we're evolving from this mental awareness system up here, and then moving into the solar plexus. The 2027 webinar is all about this, the solar plexus mutation. So this is taking that authority that we've given to our mind, and we're bringing it down to our solar plexus. And that's how we feel, right? It's all about our feelings. We're evolving through the emotional body. So it's trusting, like it's getting really self-aware of what's going on inside you. And that's where all the wisdom is. This is our little planet, right? We're living on Earth, but we have our little planet, and that's our bodies. And our bodies are so wise. They're going to your body will show you. Oh, no. Stay away from that, or this pull towards something, right? That's what's really going to guide us during this time, not our mind. Whenever you go in here, it's all about the past. The mind is all about the past, right? Or it can be like going to the future, but it's really a projection of the past onto the future. So this is a dangerous place to be. Right, is the mind. And the mind is not just our brain, right? The mind is everywhere. We can see the products of our thoughts and our beliefs out there, right? That's our mind. Yeah. Yeah, and it can create anxiety. And anxiety is all about the future, wanting mental certainty, and there's no mental certainty. This is the new normal that we're in. We're going to become more and more called to be in the present moment for the Aquarian age. Okay, so, okay, that's on. I don't know why it's making that noise. Okay, here we go. Yay. Okay. Okay, it's not perfect, but we're going to just go through this here. So I picked some cards here. And so there's the what's it? The moon, north node of the moon, and then the sun, right? And that's the 15. Whoops, the 15. So it's the gift of magnetism, the city of fluorescence. And it's dullness, right? The shadow of dullness. Being bored with the ordinary, right? Being bored with the ordinary. Okay. So the question I asked for everybody that would be watching this is what we're here to let go of. Because the solar eclipse is about letting go of something so that something can be born. And I love these cards here. These are one of my favorite cards. I had them on like as an app, but it's not the same, right? It's not the same. So this is the Three of Swords in the traditional deck, and here it's called isolation. Isolation. So this is sadness, right? It's deep sadness. So this is what we're here to let go of is isolation. I like that play on words. But it's also about feeling isolated from other people or even isolated from yourself. Can people relate to that? Like feeling isolated, feeling alone, like nobody understands you, nobody gets you, feeling like you don't really have your soul tribe, right? Your only connection maybe is through social media, and even that's this, right? Can be like this. So you can see these frozen, right? This figure is frozen. And look at the tears. The tears are the healing balm. And so, tears are part of water in itself is really important for the Aquarian age because it's the Aquarius is the water bearer. Right, that's the symbol is the water bearer, even though it's an air sign. Oh, whoops. There we go. I have to watch that. That tears actually hold memory, right? So salt water holds memory. That's the ocean. The ocean is actually doing a lot of purification for us with our ancestral memory. But you in your own personal self, this is how we cleanse the emotional body. Remember, we're evolving through the emotional body. So it requires tears, like healing tears. And that's what's going to move you out of this state of isolation. So anyone that hasn't had a good cry in a while, this is your time, right? And it's in the solar plexus is in Cancer, right? That's all about your feelings, your deepest feelings. So feeling the loss, maybe you lost a pet, right? A pet or animal. Maybe you've lost loved ones in your life, right? This is about grieving, it's sadness. Maybe you lost your dream, right? Remember when you were a child and you had all this, what's this going to be like when I'm an adult and what I'm going to be doing? And it's about letting go of that too, right? Just completely letting go of the past. And we've all experienced some kind of loss, right? Losing people, maybe through divorce or separation, right? Letting go of friends, things like that. So this is the healing balm that we have to, right? That we have to do for the solar eclipse. To me, it's like we really need crying rooms. I think they have got that in Japan or something where people can go into a room and just cry, right? By them just cry, and it's like acceptable. It's a safe place to cry. So sometimes we just need to give ourselves permission. So I'm going to give myself permission today to just like be alone where I feel safe, maybe go in the tub, right? Water's really good to be close to. And it's like, I'm just going to let it come. I'm just going to feel myself, and I'm going to let those tears come. And you'll feel it, right? You'll feel the energy start to move. Those emotions will start to move. And then you feel so good afterwards, right? So you feel really, really good. And that means your emotional body is purifying so that more light can come in, more divine light can come in for you, right? So letting go. This is about letting go. So having a good cry. And then you're connected to yourself, right? This connects you to the self. And it also connects you more and more to the present moment. This is why we don't want to be in the present moment, because we don't want this. We don't want to face this. We all have this. We all have tears to cry. All of us. And so here's the other cards that I use here. They're called the O cards. Okay, so this is what's going to help. The sense of humor. And look at the water. This represents nurturing to me. It's like nurturing yourself emotionally, pouring yourself a glass of water, but also nurturing yourself through laughter, right? So Groundhog Day, that's a great movie to watch for a good laugh, especially if you look at it from a spiritual perspective. It's hilarious, right? It's really, really funny. So more laughter in your life, right? More of that. And laughter is great because it opens your heart up. And it also helps you to be yourself, because it's impossible not to be yourself when you're laughing, right? Like a good, honest laugh. It's coming from an authentic place. So that. And then the next question was like, what's the block, right? What's the block to letting go of that? And it's this. So that's like the 9 of Wands in the traditional deck. Okay, Knight of Fire here. Look at him, right? He's exhausted. This is exhaustion. This is the exhaustion of trying to be someone that you're not, right? This is the exhaustion of thinking that you're doing everything. You're doing everything. That's the ego tells you. If I didn't get up, the sun wouldn't rise, right? If I didn't watch the earth, it wouldn't rotate. That kind of craziness. This is self-importance, right? So whatever you're doing, it's time to let it go. Because, you know, most of us don't even live our own life. That's the sad part. We're living someone else's life. Living the life our parents conditioned us to be, right? Also, or living the life that society wants us to live, right? And it's exhausting. And not being yourself, because you have to be yourself in the Aquarian age. As we go more and more into the Aquarian age, when we're not in truth, right? When we're not being ourselves, this is going to happen. Exhaustion. Do you feel this? Like this exhaustion, this weariness? I know this, right? It's time to let it go. Because we're going into the next chapter. This next chapter, right? Solar eclipse is bringing us into the next chapter. Okay, so letting go of that, right? And just surrendering, right? Just surrendering. Because life's got something really important and profound and magical for you. But it involves being yourself. Okay. And then underneath that, I love this. The sea turtles. I love the sea turtles. That's why I'm in Maui. I had a dream that the sea turtles invited me. I know it was a vision. It wasn't a dream. They invited me to Maui. And they're such interesting creatures, eh? They're all over Maui. And I love that because of the lockdown, there's no tourists here, hardly any, because they have to be quarantined for 14 days. So all these beautiful sea turtles are everywhere, right? Taking over the beaches. And they're so ancient. And I just learned the other day that they survived what the dinosaurs couldn't, right? They go far back. So this is the image of self-reliance, right? And the turtle right? They don't move fast. Turtles don't move fast at all. They're taking their time. So this is showing you to not get into this busy, and I need to justify my existence, and I need to have lots of to-do things, and I need to be progressing forward, and I need to do. And then this is the block, right? And this is like, it's time to find your own cycle, right? Your own cycle. And it means slowing down, putting your head in your shell, right? Like the turtle, and resting, like having a little rest. And this is what COVID-19 is really, one of the many, many lessons. I think we'll be like reflecting back about this time in our human history, and like, wow, what a gift that was, this lockdown. And so, right? So stopping, resting, and going into this next cycle, right? This next cycle of evolution for you. So that's good. And then what's coming? What wants to be birthed? I love this card. This is the Knight of Wands in the traditional deck. Look at that arrow. It's just an arrow. So this is pure energy, right? So this isn't about the exhaustion of the do. This is in the present moment. This is the present moment. And this is you being in your authentic self. This is you being in your passion, right? And you may lose people. I actually lost a friend this week. I just let it rip with this person, right? This friend of mine. And he got really, really triggered by me. And I said, I'm just in my passion. And he read it as anger. Like, oh, you're being really angry, and because I was stirring something in him, right? I was stirring something in him. So you may lose people, and that's a good thing, right? They're not the right people for you. So you can bring new people in, right? So this is about being in the present moment, fully in the present moment, in your destiny, your authentic self, and that intensity. So this is the complete opposite of this shadow. Dullness, right? Dullness. Everything's dull and things aren't moving at all. And then this wants to be birthed, right? So this is moving forward in your life, but it comes from inside you, right? Inside you. So not being held back. And so not exhausting, right? You're completely fed by the divine with this energy. The other energy, it's like you're getting your energy from the ego, other people's egos, giving you strokes. This is coming from your soul. So I love that. And then underneath here, look at that. That's your multi-dimensional self. There's you, your little physical self, and your emotional self, your mental self, and then this causal self, your soul. So it's no longer being a stranger to yourself, right? No longer being a stranger to yourself, to all these aspects. This is coming into 5D, right? We're moving out of 3D into 5D, and on for the Aquarian age. So not being a stranger anymore to yourself. And when you're not a stranger to yourself anymore, then you're not a stranger to others, because we all share the same self, big S self. So you're no longer isolated from yourself or from other people or creation, right? You're connected to creation. So I love that. And then the overall thing here, going with the flow, right? Going with the flow. So letting things, if things are falling away, let them fall away, right? You're being carried by the current that supports and loves you unconditionally with this, going with the flow. And then the other little message here, the other person is you. And this is one of the sutras, one of the 5 sutras of the Aquarian age. The other person is you. So recognizing that there's no division between us, and that whatever that other person is showing you an aspect of yourself, right? These people that we draw into our life, the most challenging ones, they're showing us an aspect of ourselves that we need to integrate, right? So remembering that, right, we're moving out of division and into a unity, and it doesn't matter what you see on the news and the computer and all that stuff. You have to remember the big picture, right? The big picture, what's really going on. So remembering that there's no us and them, right? There's only we. Moving out of the language of me to we. Here we go. Okay. And then Mercury is in this one. And this is the shadow of provocation. I'll probably do its own video on this one. But this is the city of liberation, right? So Mercury's in this. So I'll go more into depth with this. But this is, these two are connected. Magnetism and dynamic energy, I like to call it. So this is the tantric energy. So to liberate us into our authentic self. Okay. So let's do, I just want to go back to me. Okay. Yeah, that's great. The beliefs become reality. So she's going into the woods the last few nights and crying for hours. Yes, because you're crying not only for yourself, but you're crying for the rest of humanity. You're crying for your ancestors and your parents, right? Recent mate. This is the whole point of all this loss that we're experiencing. I mean, the greatest honor we can give to someone that we've lost is to let it shatter our hearts open, right? That's the greatest, that's the gift that that they've left. That's why sometimes I feel like babies come in, right? Babies come in and then they die, right? They die like a month later or a couple weeks later. It's really that soul has come in for that family line to shatter their hearts open and to deny and suppress and repress those emotions. Yeah, it doesn't serve, right? So we have to open our hearts. Okay. Debbie Hill, I've been thinking of doing laughter yoga. Yeah, we need more laughter in our life. And you can feel that, right? Like I'm a big researcher and I like to know what's going on in the world. But you can topple over a little bit and get a little bit too serious. So bring yourself back. It's like, okay, I need to bring some more lightheartedness into my life. Yeah. 5 houses in water. I like to think I've cried enough already. Yeah. Right. I know. I do the same thing. Yeah. It's I have a south node in Capricorn, so I spent many, many lifetimes. Oh, there's no time for this. And now my north node's in Cancer. Right? Yeah. The color card. I don't know which one you're talking about there, the color card. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I do have Beliefs Become Reality. I have a YouTube video actually for the solar eclipse thing. I'll put it in the information box. But it's important. It's best if you do it by a body of water. Anyway, I explained that in the video. That's an old one. I think I did that in 2012. Solar eclipse. Okay. So there we go, everybody. And so make sure that you watch my other video. My other video on the collapse of the hierarchy. The hierarchies. And so I'm going to start doing more videos like that. I really enjoy them. They take time. They take energy. And this is like a spiritual perspective on current events, because we need to be part, as light workers, we need to be part of this world. We can't just really, I don't want to speak for everybody. For my destiny, no, I need to be part of the world. Maybe some people are not. Maybe that's not their destiny. But remember that we're affecting people, right? We're affecting everyone by our vibration. So I want to do more videos like that and just have that understanding of the big picture of what's going on. Yeah. So please watch that video. I know they're long. I really try to shorten them, but I can't just do sound bites. You know, I'm not that kind of person with that. And sometimes to go into depth with something, it takes time, right, to get your message across. Okay, Satnam, everybody. Aloha, everyone, and have a great day. And use this time to really go deep inside, let go, give yourself permission to cry, go and be alone. You got to do this work alone, right, where you feel safe, and really let this come, like it's about letting go of the past and letting yourself cry, and you'll feel so much better afterwards. I guarantee it. Okay? Okay. Satnam, aloha.